Well, good morning, good afternoon. Oh, hang on, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Look, thanks for inviting me along and for being interested in learning a little bit more about the compensation plan, especially with the journey that you're on. It's good to know to broaden your horizon and to learn more about the compensation plan, so you in return can teach also your downline and future rising stars to do the right thing and to reach their maximum potential. So Emma asked me to cover the extra bonuses that are available to executives, and there's 5 really of them. The first one I'm going to cover is the so-called Dynasty Infinity bonus. And even though a lot of you have already enjoyed the bonus, several don't quite understand it. So I will cover that first and foremost, and then the extra bonuses will be the travel pool incentive, the country pool, the royalty new business and retention bonus, and finally the chairman's pool. So we'll go through the session, and it's very much mirrored on the compensation plan booklet that you already have or can view online. And like Emma said, it is recorded, so you can revisit it, and you can also always ask questions if you're stuck on specific areas. So thanks again for everybody taking the time out of your busy schedule. I'm just going to start off, and here we go. I just want to just do a quick revision on the different executive ranks. So there's 5 of them, starting from bronze to silver to ruby, emerald, and finally diamond. Those are the 5 executive ranks. And they all follow the same principle. The only difference between the ranks is that you have to earn a higher network volume if you want to progress to the next level, and you do need more active manager leagues as you go along. So for example, as a bronze executive, you need 100 PV yourself every month. That starts commission calculations. That's the baseline. You need 500 GV group volume. And remember, please, also when you teach your downline, PV, your personal volume, is always included in the group volume. Okay, so when it says 500 PV GV, it really means 100 PV plus a minimum of 400 from your group. Now you can purchase the group volume yourself and make up the 500 points, but that's obviously not a very good business practice. It's better you have a team below you help your volume build up rather than you doing it yourself. The network volume is calculated through the PV and GV plus all the managers and above and their team in your first 4 compressed generations. Whatever they contribute during a company month will be added up. And as soon as you reach a certain threshold, for instance, 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 network volume, the computer will recognize that and check what component is still missing for you to reach the next executive level. So the 4th component is what we call the active manager leagues. Now, those are personally sponsored managers who also achieve the 500 PVGV during the company month. An active manager league cannot be compressed up. Okay, so when your frontline manager is inactive for whatever reason in a particular month, but the 2nd generation manager is active and it is compressed up into your 1st generation, you will be paid on it at your 10% as if it is your 1st generation, but that person will not count as an active manager league. It truly has to be personally sponsored. It cannot be compressed up. And that's where sometimes confusion arises when people look at their statement. They're saying, well, look, I've been paid on my commission statement as if this person is my 1st generation. So why didn't I move up in rank? Well, because the person was not personally sponsored. Okay. Now, with the Dynasty or Infinity bonus, it is an up to bonus. And that means whatever has not been yet paid to your downline executive will be paid to you. So let me explain that a bit further. So assume you are a 3-star Ruby executive. And with the Dynasty bonus, a 1-star is eligible to up to 1% of the dynasty bonus. And the dynasty bonus covers your whole entire network. It's not capped at 4 generations, okay? If you have a very mature and deep business, you will benefit in terms of an extra payment all the way down the line, even if it's 20 generations. However, it is an up to percentage. And again, like in your group volume commissions, when you have reps and supervisors below you, you will earn whatever has not been paid yet to your executive league. So the computer doesn't look at you as a whole network. It looks at each active manager or executive league below you. So if you are a 3-star, for example, and you have a manager league below you, you will actually get paid a 3% extra bonus on that manager and his or her entire team, because no executive bonus has been paid to that particular person because they're only a manager. So the full 3% will go to you. Now, remember, as a Ruby, you need 4 active manager leagues at least, okay? So if your second active league is a 1-star bronze, that person is eligible to receive 1% on their team. And because 1% has already been paid out and your maximum entitlement is 3%, you receive 2% on that particular league, okay? Again, it's not the entire business. It looks active league by active league and works out who is in that team to determine your pay. Now, the third league is a 2-star silver, and that one will receive 2%. Therefore, the balance 3 minus 2 is 1% on that particular league and the team of that person. So what happens if a person is a 3-star equal to you, or a 4 or a 5-star, a higher rank than you? Well, in that regard, you actually don't get a dynasty bonus. But don't be upset about it. Be excited that you have developed somebody who is equal or of higher status than you, because those people have actually helped you become a Ruby in the first place. Remember, you get paid 10% on their entire business up to 4 generations. And the network volume that they have created has been pushed up into your network volume bucket. So without those 4 or 5 stars below you, or 3-star equal people, you wouldn't have reached the required network volume for that particular month, okay? And remember, so you need the right PV, the right GV, you need the right amount of active leagues, and you need the right amount of network volume to reach your executive status. And the executive status has to be re-earned every month, okay? Unlike the supervisor and manager status, which is a permanent status and status for life, the executive status will be recalculated every month. So you can easily drop from a 3-star to a 1-star, or from a 2-star to a manager, okay? So it's really important that you look at your business and ensure that you have spare manager leagues in case one of the managers is not in a position to buy that month, or once we can travel again, might be traveling. So always have a buffer, and the same applies to your network volume. A lot of the executives tend to make the mistake to have the network volume to the bare minimum. So a Ruby executive has to, for instance, have 20,000 network points, and they just achieve 20,500 for the month. Now, in theory, this is all good and you will still get paid as a Ruby. But if somebody in your team in the very last minute becomes a manager and breaks away into your 5th generation, you may lose or drop off some network volume and may drop rank. So it's always important, like anywhere in life, in any situation, to build in a bit of buffer for eventualities that you have no control over, okay? So ideally have spare manager leagues in place and go over and above the required network volume. So with that being said, we'll dive into the first extra bonus that is available to you as an executive. So just to recap, we've got 4 of them. 1 is the travel pool incentive, the country pool. Number 3 is the royalty and retention bonus, and 4 is the chairman diamond pool. We'll start with the travel pool incentive. So that is eligible to 2-star and above. So if you have at the moment a team or a rising star who is endeavoring to move up the career ladder and is sitting on a 1-star bronze executive status, help them along to move up, because once you are a silver 2-star, you have access to more special bonuses compared to a 1-star or manager or supervisor. So the travel pool incentive is calculated by 1% of the total country PV that's allocated into a pool. Okay, that's what we put aside every month. And you collect points by reaching a certain executive rank. So obviously the higher the rank, the more points you earn. And also you get rewarded for personally sponsoring new supervisors or managers. Okay. Now the travel pool points can be redeemed for new image related travel. Now, obviously, at the moment in COVID times, this is a bit hard to do when we have all these restrictions in place. And in New Zealand and Australia, we are a little bit lucky compared to several other countries in the world. We do have still a little bit of freedom in moving around, at least within our own country. So because of that, the chairman has been very kind and not deducted any points in the since March 2020 because of the COVID restrictions. Okay. So this will be reviewed very shortly, because obviously we don't know how long this COVID situation is going on for, and we will advise how you can use the travel pool points going forward. But let's first learn how you can actually earn those points. Okay, like I said, you have to be achieve a paid silver or above executive status with 750 PV or GV per month. So it's a good thing for you as an executive to learn that to earn any extra bonus, you need to do 1.5 times the required standard GV. Normally you need to do only 500, but for extra bonuses, you need to do 750. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Always do 1.5 times. You must be on monthly authorship with at least 100 PV minimum. And I would suspect by the time you reach executive level, you are well and truly a converted authorship person anyway, and your team is on authorship as well. Okay. Like I said before, you receive extra points for personally developing a new supervisor or new manager. And that's really important because you need to keep growing your team. Okay. When a person becomes a manager and breaks away, you need to replenish your group with new representatives and supervisors who help you build up your monthly required group volume points. So don't change everybody to become a business builder. Look after your customers, your representatives and supervisors really well. Help them, the supervisors, to progress in their endeavors, and treasure your product users and representatives, okay? Because they not only give you up to 25% commission, but they also help build your volume bucket really nicely. Now, the higher the paid executive rank, the more points you receive in that month, okay? Just like in real life, the higher you're up, the more you can earn. The points value will vary month by month because the PV overall volume varies also, okay? Not one month is the same, and not one month has the same amount of qualifiers, and not one month has the same amount of new supervisors or managers. But you as a team, as the executive team, collectively can drive this, the value of the points, because the more sales and the more people join, the bigger the pool, the more you can earn, okay? And I explained just before, normally the point system works on a 12 months rolling system. Okay, it's a very simple system. It means that if, for instance, in June 2020, you collected 10 points and you can't use them, or you didn't use them up by June 2021, those particular 10 points will be deleted from your account. So not your entire account will be reset to 0, only for that particular month. But as mentioned, at the moment, we haven't done any deduction since 2020. We have accrued all travel points for those who qualified. Like I said, it might change, but we'll keep you informed. So that's the travel pool incentive, okay? And you can view your travel points in your business center. When you click on the commission tab, there is a provision for your travel points to look at them. The country pool bonus is a very interesting bonus, and there's 3% of the monthly country PV allocated to that pool. Now that's also for 2-star and above. And depending on what your paid rank is for that particular month, and if you have achieved all the required points, you can participate in 1 pool, 2 pools, or as a diamond, you can participate and get a share of each of those pools. So 1% is allocated to each of the pools. And for instance, a diamond shares with other diamond achievers that particular pool, but then also gets a cut in a share of the emerald and the silver and ruby star pool. So it's quite a lucrative little pool. Now we collect the funds over a 4-month period. And like with the travel points, you have to be a silver 2-star or above with 750 per month in the GV. Be on Autoship again, same thing. You must personally develop a new supervisor who is active 2 out of the 4 months, okay? The country pool runs parallel to the royalty period, 4 months. And the supervisor has to be active with 100 PV minimum during the country pool period. And that is to encourage you, I mean, as an executive 2-star and above, you should endeavor to bring in new supervisors on a regular basis anyhow. But it's not enough to just bring them in, but make sure they stay active and that you look after them and that they progress to manager level and hopefully executive levels. It is important that once you're 2-star and above and you want to participate in that pool, but also for your personal growth, that you present a public new image business presentation or product training, okay? Now, obviously, at the moment, it's very likely through Teams or Zoom if you can't physically run presentations, but that's fine, that all counts. All you would have to do is provide evidence of the event and send it to head office, okay? You need to maintain a better network retention percentage than the country average. Now, retention is really, really, really important. It's all good to bring in new people, but if they drop off as fast as you bring them in, then you don't have a strong, sustainable business. You want to retain your team and your members. And that's why we pay the 10% in your first generation. So you can look after them very well and you teach them well, and then they duplicate your efforts for their first generation, okay? It's all it's about, what it is about. You as a leader, you're also their teacher, and they will follow what you do. So as an executive with a team and active manager legs in place, you should have enough knowledge to run business presentations and product training to educate your team. But you should also lead by example and make sure that people are on Autoship, that they keep reordering, and that you give good customer service. The country pool is paid out at a royalty event because they go hand in hand. Now, the current royalty period is June 2021 to September 2021. So this is very timely to run this little training because you have now over 3 months time still to go for these pools, to make sure everything is followed by the book, and to encourage your team to do the same, okay? To receive this particular bonus, you have to be personally present to receive the bonus, okay? You can't ask your brother, mother, father, or team member to accept the bonus on your behalf. It has to be personal. And in order to run an event, I cover that under the royalty section, we need to have a certain amount of achievers and a certain amount of people participating in the event for it to go ahead. So at the moment, Australia and New Zealand is all geared up for this to happen. So just make sure you keep going the way you do, so we can have our first country pool and royalty event in the very near future. Now, the royalty and retention bonus is one that I would really love for you guys to fully understand and to encourage your members to participate in. The beauty of that is that it is for managers and above, okay? You do not have to be a 2-star executive. However, you still have to do the 1.5 times GV being 750 points, and you have to be on authorship with 100 points. So what is this all about? Well, it's a recognition bonus, really. It's a recognition bonus for you as a leader, having introduced new member over a certain period of time and having looked after them very well. And for that, you get a reward. And depending on which threshold you reach, you can be a so-called blue sash achiever and earn 2% of that particular bonus, a red sash at 3%, or a gold sash at 4%. How do you do that? Well, like I said, you must be a manager and do 1.5 points at 1.5 points at GB per month during the royalty period. Be on authorship. And here's what you need to understand. How are these points calculated? So every month, there is, we call it a bucket. It's called a royalty volume bucket, where your royalty points get calculated and collected. And the royalty points come from your new members' first and consecutive PV order during that 4 months period, during that royalty period, plus your personal purchases. All of that gets thrown into a bucket, and 75% of the value of those points get calculated for your royalty volume. Okay, so if you had 1,000 points in personal purchases, and those purchases from your team, 750 points will go into that bucket. And the points are calculated in 4 generations, uncompressed, okay? Unlike your network volume commissions or other commissions, there's no compression. It's your true first 4 generations. So whoever you bring in as a new person, and the 4 generations below you, whoever they bring in as new people during that period, all those points count towards your royalty volume bucket at 75%. And once you reach 10,000 points, you would have reached a threshold to be a blue sash achiever. Now it gets better, because retention is so important to us that we even look back. Okay, so those new members that you brought in the previous 4 months royalty period, whatever they have purchased, and continue to do so this time round in the current or this royalty period, 25% of those points will count into your royalty bucket as well. So not the new business counts 75%, and the people who purchased last time in the first and previous 4 months and continue to do so right now for this royalty period, 25% will be added. So to attain at least a 10,000 volume points is actually not that hard if you think about it. One supervisor is already 1,200 points. Now, if you want to have the ultimate achievement and be crowned king or queen, king or queen for the royalty, you have to do a bit better, and you have to go a bit further by actually personally developing a royalty achiever in your team. Now, it has to be a brand new one. It's not somebody that has been a royalty achiever in the past. It has to be a brand new one and has to achieve a minimum of 10,000 points, so a blue sash achiever. And you must achieve the highest royalty volume overall. Okay, normally it goes hand in hand anyway, because if you are achieving a gold sash status, which is the highest status, by rights, you would have brought in a new royalty achiever anyway, because otherwise there's something wrong in your structure, and you need to look then at your structure. So the royalty bonus is only paid out at a royalty event. And again, like with the country pool bonus, you have to be personally present to receive it. For a royalty event to go ahead, you have to have 10 achievers in that country, and again, a minimum of 100 guests and participants for the event. Emma just asked me to explain to you a little bit how these calculations work in the background, so you understand how important it is to make sure all your team is on auto-ship and doing the right thing. So basically in this example, we have 10 achievers, and you can see under the colorful column called total royalty volume, which of these achievers have achieved the blue, red, or gold sesh. Now, as you go through the months, June, July, August, September, you see that particularly in June and July, there are some gaps in some comments. So the gaps could be because, for instance, for this person here in number F, FE, they may have only joined in the last month, but have done incredibly well to reach that royalty level. This person here has been operating for a while, but didn't go on auto-ship. So the upline didn't recognize or didn't remind them to go on auto-ship. So they missed out on 2 months worth of royalty volume. So potentially there could have been a gold achiever, but because of not being on auto-ship, the royalty volume points for those 2 months had not been counted. So it is really important that you go into your downline viewer, you click on your front line and make sure all of them are on auto-ship, because by doing so, you can see their contact details and it tells you straight away whether they're on auto-ship or not. You as the upline have a responsibility to your team, and you have to remind your front line, your first generation managers and executives, to do the same for their team. So your efforts again are duplicated. But it's important that you as the leader know enough and have enough detail to help them achieve those extra bonuses. Because how cool will it be if you're on stage or on an online forum and be recognized as the top achievers with your team? Okay. So that's just a brief example on how the computer in the background checks in and decides, you know, who is going to do what. So there's a lot of cross checks. Are they the right paid rank manager of above? Sure. Are they on auto-ship? Yes or no? Have they brought in new business? Yes or no? Have they done personal PV that month? Yes or no? And that's how these numbers here come about. Okay.
Tanya, could you just give a reminder before we move on as well, so that everyone who's on the call realizes? So all of those in the yellow bracket, what percentage bonus would they have earned on those amounts and so on?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, good idea. Yeah. So from here, 4% being a Gold Sesh achiever will turn into dollars. Okay. So sorry, I should have been better prepared, whatever that is, but it's significant. So the Gold Sesh achievers receive 4%, the Red Sesh achievers receive 3% on their royalty volume buckets, and the Blue Sesh achievers receive 2%. Okay, so it's really important for you to check your royalty volume, which is also shown under the commissions tab, to see where you're at and to make sure you and your team progress. Okay, so remind your team to use the business center to check in on their own performance, but also on the performance of their team. All the information is online, you know, for you to run your business really efficiently. All right, now,
sorry,
this is the...
Sorry,
yes.
may I be asked, do we have to attend an event in order to receive those kind of retention and loyalty bonus as
yes,
well?
You do. Yes, you do, Tan. It is, you have to attend the event in person to receive the bonus. If COVID prevents that because of a restriction in traveling, then there will be an online forum, an online event. But if you can travel, you must be there in person.
And when will that happen, that retention event?
So it normally is the month following the completion of the 4 months period. So in the case of New Zealand and Australia, it would normally be in October.
Okay, this coming
October or November.
Yep. Thank you. So, and there will be an announcement from the company.
Oh, yes. You will know well in advance.
Thank you. I don't want to miss anything.
No problem. So the chairman's pool is for all our wonderful diamonds. And that's really quite an amazing event to go to if there's no COVID. I have attended probably 4 or 5 of them now. It's an international event once a year where the highest achievers are celebrated and recognized for their amazing work that they have put in throughout the year for themselves and the team. And 1% of the global PV gets allocated every month to that pool. And it's on a pro rata basis. So whatever your country in percentage has contributed towards the pool will then be calculated and paid out at the event to the individual achievers from that particular country. Okay, because obviously if you have a country with which contributes a large amount, 50% or whatever, to the pool, and your country contributes 10%, you can't expect those from the 50% carrying you along. Okay, so it's a pro rata basis. So it's really important for you as a diamond achiever to drive your team, to drive yourself and push hard, because the more you contribute to the pool, the more you can earn. Now, the difference to this particular pool is that it is based on a calendar year. So you need to achieve your paid diamond status between January and December 12 consecutive times. Okay. You need to also develop a new diamond achiever during that period, and you have to increase your income by 10% compared to the previous range. So what is it all about? January to December is the qualification period every year. Again, 1% is allocated towards the global pool on a pro rata basis. And it goes by calendar months, okay? Not financial year or whatever else, it goes by calendar months. Achieve paid diamond status 12 times. Now, sometimes the chairman makes a discretion that if you achieve the paid diamond status for a minimum of 6 months, you may qualify for a reduced percentage or a partial payment, okay? Because he wants to recognize the rising stars amongst you. So don't give up if you haven't done 12 times, go hard and try to go at least 6 times, because you might be in for a special trip. Increase your income by 10%. Develop that new diamond. And it's paid out annually at an international event. You know, I've been to events. One year we had it here in New Zealand. One year we were on a cruise ship sailing in Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam with all our achievers. One year we hired all of the Club Med Resort in Phuket in Thailand. So it's really, really, really amazing to be part of it. And it's something for you to really strive for, because not only is the extra bonus quite significant that you could possibly earn, but also just the sheer experience to be part of that and to mix and mingle with the best in the new image business is quite something, So Emma, this is the end of my presentation. Sorry, I forgot one more slide that I should have added a bit earlier on. But in your compensation plan booklet online or in your physical copy, this is basically your reference table or your Bible in speech marks to reference back to if you want to check what each person should be doing to reach a particular paid executive rank or manager or supervisors. It shows you here what they have to do in PV, in GV, in network volume, how many active manager leagues they need. And once this is done, what the reward is and what extra bonuses they all can participate in, okay? So if I was you, I would have this as a screenshot on my phone, so it's handy when you talk to your team or to prospects, or have a printout copy, because it just helps you analyze it, especially towards month end when you try to drive your team and you and the downline viewer on your business center. Have this printed out in a decent size So you can quickly check, oh, has this person done the right thing? Yeah, 100 PV, yeah, 500 GV, yeah, 20,000 network volume. Oh no, only 3 active manager legs. How can I help them to get a 4th one? Because remember, whatever your team does moves you up as well, okay? So look after them well. So thank you very much. And if you have questions, now is the time. I'm going to stop the sharing for a minute and get back onto picture mode. There you go.
Thank you
Hello.
so much, Tanya. That was really, really informative. I know I've taken a whole page of notes, and I've even got a few questions noted down myself that I thought may come up. I just wanted you to confirm for everyone, because I know some people see travel points on their commission statements and in their business centre, but still don't fully understand what that point value equates to. They sometimes look at the points and think, have I got that in travel cash, or does it convert into another ratio? Could you maybe explain that a bit further for everyone?
Yeah, so the travel points are travel dollars, for a better word. So it's not a cash bonus that's paid out in cash. It's a value that's been that can be used against to travel to a new image event, or for accommodation, or for packages. So when we run certain events internationally or locally in Australia and New Zealand, we put values around the event and how many of your travel points you can use to participate. And sometimes we even allow travel points to be used for spouses as well, depending on the event.
Okay, and so just curious, and this may not have come up before, obviously prior to COVID, but are they allowed to use their travel points towards domestic travel, or is it only currently for international royalty events?
It has only been for international, but maybe, you know, look, because nobody has a crystal ball what's going to happen, right? So we may have to look into some alternative methods. But yeah, can't confirm that at this point, I'm afraid, sorry.
Okay, no problems. And then, my next question was about the royalty event, which you actually already touched on, in that I know some other markets, because of COVID restrictions, have done a combined royalty event where part of it is online for people that could not physically travel, and part of it is still physical, and that is how they were able to still run a royalty event. And so I just wanted you to clarify that that is something that Graham is allowing, pending on the travel restrictions in each market.
Yeah, because they, you know, travel restrictions can change overnight, as you know, you guys have all experienced and we have experienced. Yes, we had to change our rules in terms of allowing Zoom-based royalties. You know, some countries were forced to do it fully on a virtual basis, but you still had to be, you know, personally present for the whole presentations and not just sort of click in and out or whatever else, because it can all be measured these days. In some places, for instance, South Africa has been able to allow 50 people to an event because of their local restrictions, and the rest was online. So whatever works, in it's country specific. There's no blanket rule, and it depends what the government allows you at the time.
Yes, okay. Yeah. And then I also just wanted to share with all of our distributors that joined us today is that the bonus that excites me the most is the royalty and retention bonus, which, as you said, this is perfect timing for this training because our royalty period has just started. It started in June and runs until September. And I love that not only all executives can play in that bonus, but managers can even play in that bonus as well. And from what I saw of previous tracking, Australia and New Zealand is actually on track to have our 10 qualifiers for the next royalty period, which I believe would be the first time we've achieved that in quite a while. And wouldn't it be fantastic if we actually got to have a royalty event in October and November? And I just think I can taste it. We're so close. We're going to get there with the growth that we've been having. And I know a lot of our top executives who are on the call have been asking me about this and saying, how close are we? Do we think it's going to happen? And 100%, I think it's going to happen. I know you do too. So we'll be closely tracking that. And of course, as Tanya said, we would make sure we let everyone know ahead of time if that's going to go ahead and what it looks like, if it's going to be physical, if it's going to be online, if it's going to be a combination, because this would be a really big and special occasion for Australia and New Zealand to celebrate. But I wanted you all to know that we are very excited for that to happen, and we'll be closely watching over the next 4 months. So did anyone have any questions for Tanya?
Yes, Tanya, so may I please ask on the point that I had for retention loyalty bonus before, in the last like 4 months or 6 months, will that be calculated partly toward like this, the coming one?
Yeah, so for this current royalty period, which is from June to September, all the new business that you bring in will be 75%, okay? Whatever they ordered in their first and consecutive orders. The people you introduced to New Image in the previous 4 months, if they continue to purchase between June and September, 25% of their points will count towards your new business in retention. That's the retention part of your business, okay? And 75% is the new business. Okay, so important for you to keep looking after the people you brought in for over the 4 months period prior to June.
And
put them on auto ship.
Oh yes, I love to put them on auto ship now, since I realized the benefit of the auto ships.
It's very, very good. It's great customer service.
As well as for the travel point. Will the company announce us, first in hand, when will the event overseas gonna happen, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and then guiding us how to, like landing the point for those country event as well?
So prior to COVID, the way it worked, there were competitions being put out on how to go to a Malaysian or Vietnamese royalty or Taiwanese royalty, how you can get there for free or at 50% or whatever else. So we normally advise it well in advance, but obviously with COVID, it's all come to a grinding halt, because people, countries have gone into the second and third wave at the moment. So when we can open that again, really probably depends on how soon the vaccinations will come through in those other countries to open up borders. So at the moment, we are unfortunately limited to beautiful Australia and New Zealand in our endeavors.
Thank you.
Because we don't have a crystal ball, we just don't know, we just don't know. Hopefully it will be very soon again, because I miss my traveling badly.
Yeah, I like the cruising park.
Yes, that was wonderful. We had 500 executives on a ship, everybody together for 7 nights and 8 days. It was unbelievable. We had from the cruise ship, the big auditorium booked just for ourselves. We had our own shows. We had our own restaurant. It was phenomenal. It was very, very good.
Amazing.
Was amazing.
Are there any other questions for Tanya? No, looks like we. Oh, Tan, yes.
Sorry, I got one from the country poll. It says that you have to present a public new image business presentation and product training. So, I mean, is that, for example, if I do a traditional way and I invite a few executive or manager to my house or my place, and then I running product training for them. So I have to record it. And then
you don't have to record the whole event. You need to probably, advise when you're going to run the meeting and what the topic will be. and provide some evidence of the event. So it's not just a one-on-one, you know, you can have a group picture or whatever else. We need to just have some form of verification that you're doing it regularly and you choose relevant topics, you know, and it's not just a book club or a get together for some food, that it is New Image related. Yes. And you would send that into head office and we would record it against your account.
How often do we have to do it? You recommend?
Well, I would, you know, I would like to see it at least once a month, very least. But as an executive, if you only do it once a month, you're letting your team down, right? So in all reality, at your level, you would do it at least weekly, some sort of event.
Yeah.
You know, whether it being on Zoom.
Report, that's why.
Yeah, you can do it on Zoom or you can do it on Teams, you know, and for instance, you know, overseas where they cannot travel at all, but they want to participate in the bonus, they send evidence of their topics and what they have done. They either record the session or they take screenshots of all the participants on the call.
Can I do a one-by-one and it's still okay with the company? Like just one.
You can do one-on-one, but it wouldn't count towards the country pool because we would expect you to do that anyway. Otherwise, you can't grow your business.
Oh no, I mean, like, you know, like it's just 1 or 2 person attend the presentation and then I do many of those kind of presentation. Does it have to be a group or many members at one time?
It should probably be more than, should be probably 10 or more because then it's not a public presentation. Otherwise, it's just a little one-on-one. Yeah.
It would probably be something, and for the country pool, I'll obviously closely be tracking these things over the next couple of months. I will likely be reaching out to everyone who is going to be eligible or looks like we're on track to be eligible, and I will help coordinate with those people when the training will be, what the topic will be, you know, and if you need assistance in creating the Zoom link to make sure that each of the qualifiers have done that component. So that can be something that I closely manage with each of the qualifiers to make sure it gets done.
Thank you, Emma.
No worries.
Yeah, see, just getting back, it's very good questions you asked, Tan. Thank you for that. You know, it is not just enough to be a leader and to introduce people. It is really also in your own interest to educate yourself further on the benefits of the product and the business. Because only if you know what you talk about can you be convincing and help others and teach others, right? So you have to invest a bit of time and effort into furthering your education around the New Image business model and the product range. And there's a lot of information in the resource center for everybody to tap into, to grab PowerPoints. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can use the resources available and just ensure that you can deliver them so your team can understand and learn, and you teach them also where to find information in the business center, for instance. That can be one session, you know, one business training can be where to find information in the business center, because believe you me, a lot of your members in your team and other people's team just don't use it enough or don't know where to go. And even if they're not a business builder, they can still go into the library and find some product information or use the shopping cart or set up and change their authorship online. There's so many tools available that people don't take advantage of.
Thank you, Tanya.
That's okay.
All right. Well, if there aren't any further questions for Tanya, I think that means we've covered everything.
Hi, Emma.
Hi,
hello,
Annie.
Emma. Hello, Tanya.
Hello. How are you, Annie?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, I have a question in regarding to the requirement for the extra bonus. It says here that I must achieve 750 BP/GP.
Yeah.
I already on the auto ship for 3 cans of alpha lipid per month. So that means I already have the 100 BP requirement.
Yes, so you have the minimum requirement for auto ship for those bonuses. Yeah.
Yeah. What about the 750? The 750, what is that mean? Is that mean my Gen 1 Yeah.
No, not your Gen 1. So the group volume, it's a good question, Annie, and it's good for everybody to just be reminded. The people who help you building your group volume are your representatives and supervisors below you. Okay. As soon as you have a manager or above, they contribute to your network volume only. So the supervisors and representatives below you help build your group volume. So if you have done any 3 cans of Lifeline, 147 PV points, that's fantastic. The remainder of the 600 points still necessary should be coming from other representatives and supervisors below you in an ideal world, okay? Because that's the whole idea of it, that you create a team who helps you build your volumes, okay? You can buy the 750 points yourself, but that is somewhat a little bit of false economy, because that means that you don't have any reps and supervisors and future business builders in your team. So as soon as a manager breaks away from your group and becomes independent, there used to be a supervisor below you, they developed to supervisors, became a manager, they're breaking away from you now and contributing to your network volume. You should be out there and finding new people to replenish the person that has left. And a lot of executives, like I mentioned in the beginning, do make the mistake that all of a sudden they have so many business builders, but nobody new in their team or haven't personally sponsored anybody for a long time, that they are forced to purchase the points themselves every month, and they end up with so much product. The better example would be for you to have a healthy balance of customers, of representatives and supervisors, and of business builders in your team.
Right, I see. Thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
Thanks for clarifying that, Tanya. And the tip that I also really liked from you, which I know I would be having, you know, on my pin board and looking at it every month, is that almost like that checklist of everyone in my team, and it goes through exactly what each one needs to have achieved to make sure they're going to get that bonus or they've qualified, which I know is that last page in the compensation plan. That's a great idea and something I would recommend everyone on this call having, so that multiple times throughout the month you are ticking off, you know, does she have her at least 2 active legs? Has she done her PV? Has she done her NV? All is they on auto ship, and that's something obviously that is very obvious as we went through today's training. Auto ship is a really crucial component to earning a lot of these bonuses, not only for you but for your downlines, and it's something we really want to promote going forward. That auto ship is a very sustainable business tool that executives and leaders in our business should be promoting. So I really appreciate today's training, Tanya. I know everyone on the call has appreciated this, and I'm sure if anyone has any further detailed questions or scenarios you want to understand further about your business, you can reach out to me and then I can coordinate with Tanya on your behalf, or you can go directly to Tanya with your questions as well. But we really appreciate today, and like I said, I've recorded this session and I'll make sure I get a shareable link and I share that with today's executives. So if you've got downline that would like to see this session, they can watch it in their own time. And we really appreciate everybody joining. We hope that you learned something new. I know I certainly did.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Tanya.